Hi folks, my name's Chuck Newt, and I'm with the Winking Pig Barbecue, and you're watching a new episode of Chuck's A-Cookin'. And tonight we are going to continue on. This is going to be chapter 2 of the Christmas ham smoke, or the Christmas ham. We're going to call it the Christmas ham. And so tonight, if you watch my first chapter, that was when we went and we picked up the fresh ham or the fresh leg of pork at the meat market yesterday. Well, that was yesterday, and this is today, and so we've got a lot of things going on tonight. First off, I'm going to be skinning the ham. Then we're going to actually start curing the leg of pork, and we're going to inject it with the cure, and then we're going to put it into our brine, or the cure as it is, and then we are going to put it in a refrigerator for about the next 7 to 10 days. In this particular case, it's going to be about 8 days, because today is the 16th and Christmas is coming up, and it's going to be a pretty short, it's going to be a short time. So, let's see. So we are going to be wet curing this ham. There are two types of curing that are done. There's wet cure and there's a dry cure. And a dry cure of a ham, or to make a country ham as it's called, probably takes somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 months to do. Well, we got a few days to get this done. And so we are wet curing. We are making a city ham as it's called. Okay, so I am going to tell you that I am going to be relying on some notes here. And first of all, let me tell you that a lot of my information comes from Meathead Goldwyn and his site, which is called AmazingRibs.com, and he has a wealth of information on his site. And if you want to know something about smoking meats, curing meats, or anything like that, that would be my first place to tell you as a reference to go to learn. Okay, so that being said, curing meats, whether wet or dry, is an exact science, and you want to make sure you take care, because you want to make sure that you and your family, or whoever is going to be eating your food, is going to be safe. And I did this last year for my first time I ever cured a ham, and everything came out just fine. And now on that AmazingRibs.com, you will find a calculator on how long you should cure your ham, and mine come up with about 10 days. Well, I don't have 10 days, and now that's without injecting cure into the ham. And so I am going to be injecting the ham to put the cure into the ham. But then it's going, like I said, going to live in the refrigerator for the next 8 days. So tonight I got a lot of moving parts going on. Right now in my bathtub I have a 5-gallon bucket, a food safe 5-gallon bucket, plastic bucket that is there, that I am sanitizing right now. And along with my injector. My injector is in the bucket being sanitized along with that. And like I said, this ham is going to live in my refrigerator in this bucket for the next several days. And it needs to be sanitized, and you can't sterilize it, but you can sanitize it. And I've done this many times with making beer. And to sanitize anything in your kitchen, bleach, and bleach water is your friend. Okay, so we're going to get turned around here. The first thing I'm going to show you is how we're going to make our brine, or our curing solution. And so let's get turned around and see where we're headed. Okay folks, so in my pot here I have 1 gallon of distilled water, and now Meathead Goldwyn recommends distilled water. So that's what I'm using, and anytime I tell you that I'm using water here in this process, it's going to be distilled water, and distilled water only. Now, so there's 1 gallon of distilled water in here, and into that pot we are going to add 1 cup of brown sugar. Now, brown sugar is optional. I'm adding the brown sugar simply because my family doesn't want an overly salty ham. Me personally, I like country hams, which are very salty, and I could deal with it, but sometimes you got to please the masses. Now then, over here I've got 2 cups of coarse kosher salt, and that's going right into the pot as well. And then this is what actually is going to cure your ham. See if I can't get you close enough now. This is a curing salt number 1. There is also a curing salt number 2. You do not want to, for a wet cure, you do not want curing salt number 2. That is for dry curing. So now, in this package came from Medley Hills Farm, and I'll leave you a link to both Meathead Gold One site, Amazing Ribs, and also to Medley Hills Farm. I'll leave that to you down below here. And so right here I have 3 tablespoons of this curing salt, and that's going right into our water as well. Now then, I am going to bring this gallon of water with these additions to a boil over here on the stove. And even though that is distilled water and should be sterile, we just added some stuff into it that may not be sterile, and again, or sanitized, sterile. So we are going, or I am going to go ahead and put it on the stove here. And this is going to be our brine concentrate, so to speak. We're actually going to be making 3 gallons. So this is 1 gallon. I've got 2 more gallons that are still fresh in the jug, that have never been cracked open, that are going to be the remainder of our brine. And they're going to be cold to offset the temperature of this really hot brine concentrate once we boil it here. And also the boiling is going to help us to break down the salt and dissolve the salts and the brown sugar. I wanted to mention what makes curing salt a curing salt. And that's simply because it has nitrites in it. And now you want to be careful with nitrites. You can actually overdose on nitrites. And so that's why I'm telling you that when you are working with curing meats, I don't want to scare you at all, but when you're doing it, you need to follow directions, and you need to learn and do it per instructions from somebody that knows what they're doing. Again, that's the reason why I'm directing you to Meathead Gold One site, because the man knows what's going on. Alright, so I'm going to take this over here and bring it to a boil. I'll bring you back when we're done, or when it gets to boiling. Alright folks, we're back. So I got my sanitized bucket down here, and this is a gallon of distilled water. Cold distilled water at that. Well, I put the hot brine in here, the curing brine. We don't want to melt our bucket. And also, when we put our ham in there, we don't want to end up cooking it either. So I got those about as cold as I could get them, short of freezing them. So here goes in our hot brine. And this is actually what's going to give your ham the kind of a dark rose color or rosé color or something like that when you cook it. Now, I don't want to mix that up real good. Then I'm going to take 4 cups back out of it, and I sanitize these in the bucket as well. And what we're going to use this for, this is going to be our injection. So there's about 4 cups. Alright, so we're done with this stage. Now then, it's time to bring out the star of the show. I'm going to put a lid on this right now. Alright folks, so here we are. We've got our star of the show here. I'm going to pull out a knife here. And we are going to skin this thing. And take most of the fat with it. Because smoke will not go through skin or fat. So we are going to save it, and this is not a dirty knife. It is a high carbon steel knife, and they come silver, but you have to force a patina on the thing, and the patina is what turns it kind of grayish. Almost not too far from the color of my shirt, kind of a grayish green almost, and it actually protects it and keeps it from rusting. That being said, when you're done using it, you need to wash them right away, and you need to put a light coat of oil on them, again, to keep them from rusting. As you can see, maybe, it's a pretty sharp knife. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to save this skin. You can make cracklings with it, which is essentially pork rinds. So we're just going to kind of strip this around this side. Trying to stay out of the camera and not bump the tripod here. If I nick just a little bit of meat, it's not going to hurt anything. In fact, my family, when I was growing up, my family owned a slaughterhouse over in Muncie where my high school is. My grandfather and great uncles, some of those, they owned the slaughterhouse, and I actually worked there the whole time I was, off and on I should say, the whole time I was in high school. And we used to smoke pork skins. And then they would be made into cracklings. I'm going to guess this ham is going to lose about a good 5 pounds just by removing the fat and the skin here. Now you could go the other route and leave some of the fat on it, although this one was actually pretty lean. If you look at this skin, it's not a real thick fat cap on this thing, and but you know, it would kind of help moisturize the ham during the smoke as it renders out. And what you would do, you would cross hatch cuts through the fat to allow smoke into the meat. We're getting closer and closer to meeting my cut from the other side here. And likewise, if you cut through and leave just a little piece of skin, it's not the end of the world. It is quite edible. I don't know why I want to keep trying to curve this under when it's not ready to curve under yet. There you go. There's our hand, there's our skin off of it. And you can see I got a little bit of the meat right there. And you can smoke these, and that meat pull right back off of there, and you can eat it. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm actually going to put it in a freezer bag and save it. Because I've still got pork skin from last year. So now that I've got a couple of them, I may smoke some pork skins and make cracklings out of them. So let me get my hands washed and we'll get ready. We're going to start injecting this thing. Okay, so I'm back. And we got a little bone right here in the shank I want to get rid of. Just going to be this thing's in a bad place. And it's not doing anything. I can get this like a tendon in here. There we go. Just kind of a knob bone in there. And remove that. I left that skin on here. If you ever go to the grocery store and you buy ham shanks, which is what that is, they always have the skin on them. So I have left it on. Now then, we have our needle here, our injecting needle. Now I'm going to pretty much, mainly I want to follow the bone to start with here. I'm just going to right into that, right along that bone, and I want to put some in as I pull the needle out. I want to be injecting all the way. Okay, so I'm going to reload my cups here, and I'm going to flip this over, and we got a bone to remove on the other side here. Now you can see we got quite a lot of the mixture there coming out. Now you see this here, it's almost like a blade bone right here. That thing needs to come out of there. Kind of a funky shaped thing. As you can see, it's kind of like a joint here. That's going to keep you from getting your injection down in where it needs to go. I'm looking for the joint. There's a joint right there somewhere. Be sure I don't get my fingers in the way here. On the back side. You just keep this boning knife. Use your boning knife or a good sharp, knife. It'd be a little tougher to do with a chef's knife. Almost got it. Again, we got like a joint here again. We got to kind of break. It's got all kinds of like tendon and there we go. See, it's actually the ball socket. There we go. We lost a little bit of meat, not much. Always trim this up, and if you make your own sausage or anything, you can throw it in your own sausage. So there we go. That's taken care of. Now then, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to rinse my hands off, I'm going to reload these, and we're going to inject this side. So, back at it. I'm going to go right along the bone to start, work my way this way, flip it around and go back that way. Then I'll be hitting it at the ends, and then we'll be done. We'll be ready to go into our bucket. Alright, I think that does have it. So, now then, it's time to put it into the bucket. But, well, we're just going to hope that it'll fit right here without overflowing the bucket. That is a monster ham, dude. Or dudes and dudettes. Okay, so my sincerest hope is that I'm not about to overflow this all over my floor. Uh-oh. We're close. Holy smokes. But, in actuality, that's what you gotta have right there. You gotta cover the end right here. Even if you gotta weight it down to get it down in there. Okay, so now then, what's going to happen here, I'm going to put the lid on this and it's going to go in my refrigerator, and I'm not even going to look at it for at least 5 days. Now in my refrigerator, I've had to remove my crisper drawers out of the bottom of it and the bottom shelf in order to fit this bucket in there. So yeah, you got to make sure you're going to have room to do something like this before you jump into it, because it's got to be refrigerated. So unless you know your outdoor air temperature is going to stay cold enough to keep it outdoors for a week or longer, you can't do that. So you got to keep this thing refrigerated to the point where it's not going to cause issues. So there we go. So I'm going to close this one and this chapter, and the next chapter is going to be probably Christmas Eve when I pull it out of the refrigerator and we go set the smoking on this thing. So there you go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned something. Don't forget, if you do, remove these two bones, then go at it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. And if you like it, what you're seeing, do me a favor, down at the bottom, hit like and subscribe. And don't forget, there's always more to come. So stay tuned.